Hello, I hope you're well. My name is India. I use she, they pronouns, and we're doing a reading vlog, particularly a let's get a bingo reading vlog. Currently, we're going through a heat wave in Portland and many other places in the world. You may not be able to tell because I am wearing long sleeves, but that is, like, here you can see the tube of my air conditioning unit. Which I've kindly turned off for you at this moment. So I'm gonna try to keep this short and sweet as I can. It is the 13th or the 14th of August. So we're about halfway through, and I am participating in Powell's Summer Reading Challenge for adults, which is the first time they've done it this year. I got very invested in it, only partially because I do work at Powell's. But I love a bingo. So this is what I have so far. As you can see, I've got lots of things ticked off. I've read lots of books. Go me. And there are some like penciled in things. Gideon the Ninth needs to go right there, but we're gonna get into it. I want to get a bingo. This isn't this vlog will end when I get a bingo, but I'm gonna take you with me as I try to read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books in the next 15 days. I don't know if I can do it, but I don't know if I can do it as in I don't know if I can get a blackout on this board, like filling in all of the squares. That's like my ultimate goal, but right now we want to get a bingo. We want to get some bingos. I think I will have at least 3, which is like, if I get 3 bingos, I get 3 rewards, which is like the max that you can get, but I want all of that. So let me talk to you about the books that I'm currently reading and where they're gonna go and what challenges they're gonna tick off, and then I'm gonna tell you about my TBR that I'm not reading. First of all, I am about halfway through. It doesn't look like I'm halfway through, but if we consider the fact that this is nonfiction and has notes and bibliography, I'm about halfway through Gender Trouble by Judith Butler. Oh my goodness, I have so much fun reading this. But also I don't know enough about philosophy, and Judith Butler is like notoriously bad at writing. Or like, that's like a hot take, and people have like written that hot take. But she's notoriously, like, inaccessible. She uses a lot of jargon. She is very, this could have done with an edit or two. That said, also, hold on. Judith Butler may use they, them pronouns. I'm gonna switch to they, them pronouns now. They just are an icon. There was a moment where, like, I was in my feminist theory class in high school? Whoa, no, college. I do have a gender studies minor. Not that I don't, anyway. Anyway, we were watching this video of Judith Butler, and I am forgetting who the other person was, but after the fact, like, there were all these whisperings amongst us that were just like, Judith Butler is so hot, which I'm like, I remember sitting there and I was like, they're like twice our age at least, like probably more than twice our age. Anyway, Gender Trouble is a classic that I've wanted to read. It came in used. I was like, hey yo, I would like that. Initially I was gonna read this for the intimidating square, but then as I was looking for something to fill this empty bingo, or this empty box, which I don't know if you can read, but it says a favorite author's favorite, I came across Sarah Ahmed's essay about Gender Trouble, in which she's just like, I love it. This book changed my life. It's influenced me as a feminist, as a person, as a scholar. And I was like, I love Sarah Ahmed. Queer Phenomenology is one of my favorite books. And I'm like, there we go. Favorite author's favorite. So I'm going to put that right there once I finish it. I think this is doable. I've been reading a good chunk of it in the morning when I am not off to like doctor's appointments, which maybe I will be talking about, but not at this moment. But yeah, I'm midway through the first chapter, and they're just talking a lot about Lacan and Derrida and all these philosophers who I don't know. I don't have a philosophy degree. Moving on. The next book that I am currently in the middle of is Harrow the Ninth, by Tasman Muir. This is the sequel to Gideon the Ninth, and it's about Harrow, and I'm really confused right now. But I do have a coworker who loves this book with their whole heart and soul, and I have been like, I'm so confused. I think I'm gonna get it, but I need to tell someone that I am so confused. Initially I had Gideon the Ninth as my not in your style book. I read Gideon like a month and a half ago. Moving Gideon up to here where it says funny book, because Gideon is a funny character, and I think most people who read Gideon the Ninth find the style find Gideon's narrative and like Gideon's voice very funny. So I'm gonna put that there. So Harrow is gonna go in not your style, because this is science fiction. I don't read science fiction very often. I also don't read fantasy very often. I would chance to say this is science fiction fantasy with the level of intensity in world building and magic. Maybe I'm gonna leave it at that, because I don't fully understand it, but I will say I read the second half of Gideon the Ninth in like a sitting, so I am just planning on sticking with this until I get to that point and just really like sitting down with this book. The other book that I'm currently reading is one that I wasn't initially going to include in my bingo, because I listen to audiobooks very slowly, and this one has kind of been like on the fringe of my reading for a bit, and it is Hester. I'm forgetting the author's name, but this is kind of a retelling of what's it called? The Scarlet Letter, in the sense that it follows the woman who inspired the Scarlet Letter and this woman who's interacting with Nathaniel Hawthorne. So I initially didn't think this was going to be able to check off any boxes. I mean, it is a 2023 release, but I already have a book there that like can't really go anywhere else, except I might be able to put it in the judged by its cover box. The cover and the title really are what drew me in, and then it was the whole like retelling of the Scarlet Letter, which I think is a really like fun classic to read as an adult. I didn't have to read it for school, so like some of y'all may disagree, but yeah, I might do that. And also I think it's a good idea because at some point I will be dyeing my hair, and it'll be nice to have something to listen to while I'm like bleaching more of my hair and dyeing more of it. On to books I have yet to start. Let's start with the two that I do not have physically. One of them is Famine by Laura Thalassa. I don't know if I'm saying her last name correctly. This is the third book in the Four Horsemen's series, which is a dark paranormal romance about the end of the world, and the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, and these women that fall in love with them. So each book follows a horseman, and so we're going like and following one of them, and then another, I don't need to explain that to you. You can figure that out. I trust your deductive capacity. This is a little bit of a stretch on multiple fronts, and I don't really care because this book series has just been such a balm for my heart and soul recently with like all of the random stuff I've been dealing with. So, because it's about the Four Horsemen, like technically they're not the main characters, but they're the main love interests. And the whole thing is like these horsemen have existed forever. They are entities that have existed forever, and they just now have been given human forms. So I'm gonna say that it's a book about an older protagonist, because technically they're forever years old. And Famine, who will be the horseman whoever our main character is falls in love with, is an entity that has always existed. So older protagonist, check. Next, I, from Libby, borrowed, it was like downloaded, borrowed Husbandry by Matthew Dickman, which is Matthew Dickman, which is a poetry collection. Matthew Dickman is a poet from the Pacific Northwest, so that's going to be my by a Pacific Northwest author thing. I don't know anything about Husbandry. I just know it's a poetry collection. Poetry is a thing on here. I read Food by Gertrude Stein, which took me longer than it should have, but also it was Gertrude Stein, which is like real hard to read sometimes. Okay, those are the books that I don't have. So let's get into my beautiful stack. So going along this row, my Not Your Style, again, that's gonna be Harrow. Great. Older protagonist, Famine. An old favorite, I think I should just reread The Tea Dragon Society. It's so beautiful. I did recommend this book series to a, like, 6-year-old the other day at work, which was also so fun. A 6-year-old and their family. But I love the art, and it's a graphic novel, and I don't remember when I last read this. And, again, I'm dyeing my hair. I remember when I first read this, I wanted to dye my hair, like, pastel pink. And I think this is just going to help me feel more secure in my decision to dye most of my hair. So, The Tea Dragon Society, Kay O'Neill. And then we already talked about Judged by Its Cover. That's going to be Hester. Then, the next one we have is Intimidating. Again, I was going to use Gender Trouble as that one, but then as soon as I moved it onto a favorite author's favorite, I had a kerfuffle. And I solved that kerfuffle by choosing a very long book. I'm pretty intimidated to read Cloud Cuckoo Land by Anthony Doerr for 2 reasons. One is the length. I did pick it up on ebook, so that I have a way to read it that's not gonna be like me looking at how long it is all the time. That said, the font in here is not the tiniest, so it's like, anyway, I don't know where I'm going. That's one reason why I'm intimidated. The other reason is I've read all of Anthony Doerr's books that he's come out with so far, and so that's putting up like a weird mental block for me of, I'm like, what am I gonna think about this? He's one of my favorite authors, like I really like his writing. So I'm intimidated. And I continue to be intimidated because I've had the ebook for quite a few days now, and still have not started it. So I'm just like, when's that gonna happen? Then, an award winner, we have How to Be Both by Allie Smith. I think this is going to be great. I really like Allie Smith. I don't know anything about this. I'm going to read this. I think I'm going to really like it. Or maybe not. Like one of Allie Smith, Autumn, which I've read, I really enjoyed and like read in a sitting. But Winter and Spring were not quite as easy for me to read. just hoping that this is kind of like an autumn situation and not so much a winter or spring situation. Okay, I have 2 more sections. The first is in translation. I'm thinking of reading Kitchen by Banana Yoshimoto. Again, I don't know what this is about. I know that this is translated from the Japanese by Megan Backus, and it's quite short, like less than 200 pages. So I think that this is a good move on my end. I also, like, maybe this is kind of like, I don't want to say weird. I want like a better word than weird to use, but I don't know what word that is. So I'm just gonna put it over here. Lastly, the last box that I will need to check is the memoir box. And I have The Diving Bell and the Butterfly by Jean-Dominique Bobby. This is the memoir of a man who had a stroke and was in a coma, but at some point, like, there was something that one of the nurses who was caring for him, noticed he was blinking in a way that seemed like an attempt to communicate. So this whole book somehow was written or told or communicated to this nurse who wrote down what Jean-Dominique was communicating with these like blinkers, this like blinking system. So it's a memoir about his experience, and he did pass after it was, or like shortly after it was published. I think this is gonna be sad. Wow, that was a lot longer than I intended. This may end up being its own little TBR video, but that said, I'm really excited to keep reading. Which I'm going to do. I'm actually gonna just keep listening to Hester while I work on a new knitting project so that I can get to the point where I don't have to look at a pattern and I can knit and read on my iPad at the same time. So that's my plan. Yeah. Hello. If you can hear the AC, it's because it's hot outside. If you can hear rain, that's the little like ambiance, why did I say it like that, that I need right now. I spent most of yesterday reading Harrow the Ninth. I'm 100 pages through. Everyone's crazy. Everyone's lost it. And I have 2 friends of mine who I've been texting about this, who, one of them is a coworker who, like, this is their favorite series. Another one is a good friend who just read it. And so I'm like, what? And I did ask my coworker, I was like, everyone's unhinged. And they were like, oh yeah. And so that's been really helpful for me to just like have in my brain as I'm reading it, of like allowing myself to not try to make sense of what's going on as much, or like allowing myself to know that there isn't like some character who like knows what's going on and is rational. Also, I put my press-ons on. I really like them. Like these little like black French tips. I love the way that they look. So I'm gonna get back to reading. I've got both my kitties here. They're the sweetest. And I'll check in with you at some point. in quickly. So, Harrow. I am now 152 pages in. I need to know what's happening. I need to know what's happening. That's all. I am still pretty confused, but I feel like the confusion that I'm experiencing in this book, like, it feels very warranted. It feels like it's part of the story, whereas like the confusion of the first book, I don't know. I may still feel like it's warranted in the first book, but for me it's like you have to go through the confusion in order to understand, like in order to appreciate how things click into place. Whereas this one, it just feels different. It just feels like everything's confusing and it feels like everyone is chaotic. That is all that I've been reading. I was going to try to read some more of Gender Trouble today, or like this morning, but I did not get around to it, and that's fine. I might read some later. I do have a little bit of a book haul. I had a friend who was in town, and we met up and we hung out, and we sometimes read books together. And so we went to Powell's to try to find the next book that we want to read together. We typically read like queer books, and so we picked out This Is How You Lose the Time War by Amal El Muhtar and Max Gladstone. I'm really looking forward to this. We're gonna read it sometime in September. I remember like trying to start reading this at some point, and it just like wasn't what I needed at that time. But yeah, I'm excited. I picked this out. And then because like I fall into the thing where if I am going somewhere, especially a bookstore, and my friend is buying books, like I feel guilty. Like I feel like I should also be spending money on books. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna pick out one more thing, and I picked up Riot Baby by Tochi Onyebuchi. I forget what this is about, but this has been on my TBR for years. I read Rebel Girls? No. I read War Girls by this author, and I really liked it. I really liked the writing. And I want to read this. So again, I don't know what this is about, but I'm excited. So those are the books that I got at Powell's. I then did like stop into a thrift store. I got a really cute like piece of art that I'm gonna hang up somewhere. I don't quite know where yet. I've got a couple options. But then I also picked up Blindness by Jose Saramago. This is, right? Yeah. Just a classic, and I've been considering picking it up multiple times and just decided I wanted now to be the time. Ooh, okay, someone bought it. 2020. Anyway, this. I'm gonna sit and knit and watch some YouTube for a little bit because I feel like that's just what I need to decompress from being out and about with a friend. It was a really fun time. I loved it, but it just, you know, it's like social energy. So I'm gonna kind of decompress, and then I'll get started on reading more of Harrow. I'm having a pretty day, pretty low energy. I don't want to do any of the things that I need to do, which is fine. Days like this happen. It's just frustrating, like they happen more often for me now than they used to. But I did read a little bit more of Gender Trouble, and I thought I would talk about it a bit. I'm not liking this section because it's a lot about Freud, and I don't know about Freud. I like, one of the things that came up for me a lot in college is that we would be reading a lot of analysis that would bring in Freud. And I never got like a Freud 101, like what, I'm like, I don't know. And I think I kind of like figured it out and pieced together enough of an understanding to help me with my readings, but I'm like, I don't care. So I've been kind of not skimming, but I've been giving myself permission to not read too deeply into the parts where, like, where it's about Freud. I don't know. So I'm ready for this chapter to be over, which it will be in approximately like 20 pages. Yeah. And then we'll get into Subversive Bodily Acts, the body politics of Julia Kristeva. So like, that's a lot more interesting to me. But yeah, I don't know if I'll read any more of this today. Again, I'm just like not feeling it. I know that if I started reading Harrow right now, I'd like get into it. I'd feel pretty good. I would like keep reading it for a while. But again, I'm just like, ah. So I'm gonna knit for a bit, finish watching a YouTube video, a vlog. I made myself a matcha, very yummy. This time I tried it, so typically the way that I make my matcha, if you were wondering, is I have 1 teaspoon of the matcha powder and I whisk it together, and then I'll add in like half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of like raw sugar, or like yeah, it's like raw sugar. And so I'll have that, and then I add it to unsweetened almond milk with a little bit of vanilla. This time it's just the matcha, no sugar, or like none of the sugar, none of the vanilla, but I bought sweetened almond milk, or like not unsweetened almond milk for my matcha to like see if that like took one step out. It's fine. Not the best. I wish I had like more ice, but this was all the ice that I had. I'm knitting on the beginning of a shawl. This is the Parallel Play shawl by Stephen West, and I really was drawn to this pattern both because of these like parallelograms. This looks kind of silly, but parallelograms, but also like I really appreciate and enjoy the concept of parallel play, and I've been trying to find ways to like celebrate it and have more of it in my life, which was really, really fun when it happens. So yeah, this is where we're at. My gauge is probably off, which is fine. And I think this is not even like halfway. Oh no, it's gonna be big. I don't know. What am I saying? I'm nearing the end of my second repeat of all the colors, and I think I'm gonna do one more before I measure it. But I also think these colors are really nice, and that it's gonna be fun and kind of whimsical. did a lot of reading. What is my plan? Where am I gonna set you? I'm gonna set you here. I did a lot of reading. And I finished book 2 of Gideon the Ninth. Yeah, okay. But right now I need to go get some medication, and because I'm venturing out on a day where I really don't feel like venturing out, I'm gonna try to go to a little tea shop and sit and get some work done. This is my cute little notebook. The lighting is very dim. This cute little notebook has some fun charts about self-regulation strategies and some more little graphs about multi-tiered systems of support, MTSS. I don't know if this is worth me saying or if I've said it before. I see a lot of issue with the way that special education is, period. There's so much that I would change about it, but ultimately, like, it just, like, our education system is systemically bad. And so it is one of those things of, like, what does it mean to work within a system that has so many issues, and to work in a system that kind of, I don't know, was like created and founded based on idea, like the law idea, Individuals with Disability, like Education Act, and just some of the components of that and the way that they're written are just very, like, oh, instead of addressing capitalism and the fact that our society makes the lives of disabled people all the much more difficult, like, let's try to come up with an education system that enables disabled folks, disabled kids, to live in and, like, succeed in a capitalist structure that was not built for them and actually is, like, trying to destroy them. Anyway, that feels not quite what I want. I am also gonna bring along Judith Butler, JB, so that if I am, like, angry about what I'm reading, which is very possible, like, I could come up against some stuff that I don't agree with, but I don't think I will. Or, like, I don't think I'll come up against something that's gonna make me so angry that I need to be like, hold on. What? Anyway, bringing Judith Butler in case I want to read something that is not my reading for class. I want a little overshirt because that feels better. Here's the fit. It's a bit, like, warm for the weather, but I don't know how much I care right now. We'll see how I feel once I'm out and about. I'm gonna put on some sunscreen and I think we're good to go. I'm gonna chat to you while I get ready for the day. Let's see, reading wise, I am currently kind of halfway through Harrow the Ninth. I'm on part 3. I can't, like, everything that I could say about it would be a spoiler because of the nature of this series. I'm really liking it. It's, like, very easy for me to keep reading it at this point, which is great. I did kind of want to have it done by today, but I think maybe I'll read more of it later tonight and tomorrow, so potentially I'll have it done so I can like return it. Yes, I'm still enjoying it. I think I'm about a quarter of the way through Hester, and I'm gonna be listening to more of it in shortly from now. I'm going down to the cafe that's near my apartment, and I have some things that I need to work on, so I'm just gonna sit there, listen to more of Hester, and get those things done. I think that in that book we are getting pretty close to a point where stuff is gonna start speeding up. She and her husband have just arrived in America, and Hester has already met and is kind of like having this pull towards Nathaniel Hawthorne, and then we're also getting these this other like time period where her great aunt is being tried as a witch. So yeah, I'm liking it. It's something that I know it's slow going because I don't make an effort to, like, I just don't prioritize listening to audiobooks because I don't have like a routine with it yet. Like, I will listen to them while I read or while I knit, but because I also like knit and watch YouTube videos and will knit and watch like movies, it feels like that's not a habit. Those aren't habits that I have like stacked together. I mean, more so I've stacked like watching stuff while I'm reading rather than listening to an audiobook. So yeah, I hope that I can get a good way through it today before I head into work. I also did start Cloud Cuckoo Land, and I'm very intrigued, and I don't know why I'm so hesitant with it, because I know I'm going to enjoy it, and I already do enjoy it. So I'm not sure what it is that's like, well, okay, I have my theories. I think I really want to get Harrow the Ninth read. And so I'm just like not reading much of anything else because of that. Like, I'm not reading more of Cloud Cuckoo Land. I'm not picking Gender Trouble up as much. That's a little bit different because I need to feel like I can read hard stuff, or like I can oh boy, oh no, Tajik. Haven't read more of Gender Trouble, haven't continued on with Cloud Cuckoo Land. Gonna try to read and listen to more of Hester today. Okay, I decided that I'm actually going to work at the coffee shop connected to my store. So I'm just like getting some things for like, what am I thinking? to eat. There we go. I'm grabbing some food, some snacks if I'm feeling like eating something else. And I'm gonna go over there, which is fun. I need a lunchbox. I used to have a lunchbox and I don't know where it went. And I've been on the verge of buying myself a lunchbox many times. So I either need to figure out a designated bag that will be like my lunch bag, or I don't know what the or is. So I'm gonna figure that out. As you can see, my hair is different. It'll continue to change. This is not its final state. I am more than halfway through Harrow the Ninth, and I honestly think I might try to finish this today. I think I can do it. It's like one. That said, I do need to go to the grocery store and pick some things up. I need to do at least like 1 or 2 chores. I've been neglecting chores a lot recently. Oh, Eleanor wants to say hi. Hello. I've been neglecting chores very effectively. I've been effectively neglecting them, but I need to I'd like to run a load of laundry, and I'd like to do some of my dishes, and I'd like to do like a quick clean and tidy. My place feels very like discombobulated. Part of that is because I've moved some of my mirrors in order to bleach and dye my hair, but they can be moved back. Oh, hi baby. They can be moved back tonight. So yeah. Is it a perfect? No. But it's gonna look really great when it's done. I'm like I just feel weird about the fact that it's this color. I'm like, it's fine. But yeah, I'm really loving Harrow the Ninth. Like, it took me, like, I enjoyed Gideon, but like how much I've been loving this series like didn't quite hit until I was like a third to halfway through Harrow, and I'm like, yeah, this is really like not just like skillfully done, but just like fantastic, period. So yeah. Also having a pretty kind of rough body day in terms of I've got chronic hives now. So yeah, that's why I've been neglecting chores and such. Oh, Eleanor's gotten so comfortable. I must just need to stay here and read. Uh-oh. checking in to tell you that I will be finishing Harrow the Ninth today before I go into work so that I can check it back in. But I am having to make myself take 10-minute breaks to like tidy my place because that is something that also needs to happen. It's been a very like audible and physical reading experience this last section of the book. I've got about 100 pages left and it's a lot. It's a lot. So I'm about to take a little 10-minute cleaning break. And I also need to like do stuff on my computer and whatnot. But yeah, I'm freaking out. The cats are being cute. That's all. What are you doing? Hello. It is Monday the 28th. It is my last day of freedom as an educator, or the last day of summer. I have in-service starting tomorrow, which means I've only got a couple days, A, to complete my bingo. I don't have my bingo board, because it goes until August 30th, and B, just to like have time. Like this is my last day where I have a lot of time to read. I also have to do like normal adult things. I need to go to the pharmacy and pick up prescriptions. And I've been like on the phone with a lot of doctors about stuff, and it's been a little frustrating, but my plan today, let me talk to you about reading. I have about 80 more pages of Gender Trouble. I'd like to finish the current chapter that I'm on. Just started it today. It turns out I know nothing. I knew that, but when Butler was talking about Freud and Lacan, I was like, I don't know. I really don't know. Just finished a section offering a critique of Julia Kristeva's theory about gender, like femininity and like the poetics of language and the maternal body. Didn't get it. I don't know anything about Kristeva. Now, hi Eleanor. We're gonna go on to Foucault. I've read some Foucault. No, I've read a chapter of Foucault for a Victorian lit class. So his theory about like repression and whether or not the Victorians were repressed. But, oh, her paws are like crossed. Oh, she uncrossed her paws. But we'll see if I get that. I feel like maybe I'll get the Foucault stuff a little bit easier. I just was very lost with Kristeva. So that's where I'm at. I am definitely more than halfway through Hester. I don't know if I've updated about that recently, but that's the audiobook that I'm reading, which is inspired by Nathaniel Hawthorne and like the woman behind the Scarlet Letter. And hey, that is going well. I've been listening to it a lot more, which is nice. I'm gonna listen to it at a coffee shop while I'm working on a project after I go to the pharmacy and pick up what I need to. Cloud Cuckoo Land. Hey, babe. Cloud Cuckoo Land is great. It's going well. I just need to devote time to it, and I feel like I'll be able to when I finish reading Riot Baby, which I started by Tochi Onyebuchi. Riot Baby is a science fiction novella which got a lot of buzz the year that it came out, which I want to say was like 2014, 2015. Maybe more like 2018. I don't know. It's probably closer to 2018. And it is a science fiction novella exploring themes of violence on Black bodies through a character who has powers, which, like, she can see the future, or she gets like visions. She also can set stuff on fire and make things explode, and then also like travel in space. And I don't know if she can travel in time, but she can travel in space. Not like space, but like that didn't communicate anything, but she can like teleport. There we go. And we're following her brother, who has the nickname Riot Baby because he was born like at the same time as the LA riots. I may be incorrect about that. There's a certain degree of like the author is not holding your hand with this, so it's a little bit of like, what is going on? How are these powers working? What's going on with Kev, the brother of this girl who has powers? But it's good. I'm enjoying it. I've read War Girls by Tochi Onyebuchi and I loved it. I need to read the sequel. I think I already put a hold in at my library to get the ebook. So yeah, good stuff. But yeah, I feel like once that is done, I'm just gonna read Cloud Cuckoo Land and finish that. My other plans, my only other like, I definitely need to do this, is reading the Tea Dragon Society, because it's gonna be quick. It's a graphic novel. Other than that, if I don't get to the 3 other books that I was planning on reading, that's okay. I made my best effort, and that's fine. Yeah, I may try to pick up some graphic novels or like poetry that would fulfill what those books were going to fulfill, just because I know I will get through those quicker. But I'm not sure. Yeah, right now I'm gonna get ready to head out and kind of pack my bags so that I can read and like listen to a book while I'm working on a project. So yes, I hope I get lots of reading done today.